Not
really,
because I'm a
bright
little
purples.
Well, no, because it was just going like strobe, and I'm a little bit.
Are we live?
Are we on?
Oh, we're talking about strobing.
Strobe lighting and the awful Star Wars film where like I literally had to look away. There was a whole section at the end where it was just like, you know what this film needs? More strobes.
was it the Emperor's Fall?
Yeah, I had to literally had to sort of cover my eyes for a bit. And I
remember when I was younger, I was in a nightclub with this. There's a few of us, and this black guy that was, if he'd never been to a club before, and everyone was dancing around. And I looked at him, and suddenly he was like dribble coming down his mouth, and he was just staring. He looked like a zombie in the middle of people dancing. I was like, what the fuck's going on with him? And he started to have a fit.
Had he enjoyed some disco biscuits before?
No. He was just, he didn't tell anybody that he was epileptic.
He didn't tell anyone he was epileptic. And
did he know?
I guess
afterwards,
maybe
the first thing he said, why didn't you tell somebody?
Did he actually know?
Yeah, he knew. I was thinking, what?
But did he know that there wouldn't be strobe lights? Or
I never got to it. But I think he was just a stupid person.
That seems pretty stupid.
But the daughter with Tom was trying to get him off the door. Just picked him up, took him to the exit, and threw him out the exit.
Nice.
Shut the door.
Nice one.
It was hi everyone, by the way. We're
back.
Hi. Episode 69.
But these are two of the doormen.
My mate had a fit in a club. He literally ended up on the floor. I thought he was pissing around because literally he was like, there's a lot of strobes going on, and like literally I looked down the floor and he's just like sort of like being like a spider
fitting
on the floor,
spasm,
just sort of going around in circles, and I was like, what? Like, is he dancing or some shit? What the fuck? And then he's just like, oh fuck, I had a fit, and like because he didn't know, he didn't know at all, so he's just like, oh shit. So he's been like really thing about it since, and he said he got a test a couple of years ago. Because he's always been a bit thing about going to nightclubs and trying to avoid it. Because it was quite a shock, and like because that night we ended up having to go to the hospital and stuff, and it was all a very long night. And he said that they literally like strapped him to a table, and like they had a spinny thing
with
a circle on, and like stuff attached to his head. And I was like, "Are you sure this wasn't like some kind of experiment?"
That sounds like in. Logan's Run or something like that.
It was like the prison.
Hospital,
It was like the prison. Literally, he said
they hold his eyelids open. Play horror films.
And literally had like a circle, like
is it
a
secret?
Spiral.
Is it safe?
Yeah, they had literally had a spiral thing on a wheel, and it was spun around and so went.
Yes, and now he's the Manchurian candidate.
He just blacked out.
That's going to take out.
They were trying to set it off.
Because they were seeing what.
That's going to take out. That's who's going to take out Bernie Sanders. Your theory that if he wins, it's going to be Charles's mate.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to timestamp it like I have with everything else. So
we are 23rd of February.
Theo's predictions.
Yeah.
We've had the Trump ones about
with
him running
Mystic
to Russia.
Theo.
If he has to, he'll run to Russia.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah,
he'll testify against anyone and everyone.
At the history with the people that have been assassinated, whenever you get to actual changing things, they randomly get assassinated by lone gunmen and all these sort of things. I think if Bernie Sanders, with everything that he says, actually is now about to become president, something will happen to him. Like in The Godfather, The Godfather when they have the meeting. And he said, if anything happens to one of my sons, he said he might get hit by lightning.
That's the first one. If he should be struck by a bolt of lightning,
or a cop should accidentally shoot him.
But that's what I think. I think if Bernie, for whatever reason, has a heart attack, falls down the stairs, something falls out the sky, hits him,
cuts his head off while shaving,
decides to commit suicide, no one knew he's depressed,
accidentally stabs himself in the stomach while shaving.
I think if it comes to that, he would be one on the long list of liberal people that was actually going to bring change, who suddenly has an accident. And I'm saying that now.
Beware the Ides of March, Bernie Sanders.
I might get assassinated.
Yeah.
Because you're
liberal.
You know too much.
Well, you wanted to talk about this country.
I did want to talk about this country because it's back. Hooray!
For our international listeners.
This country is
our country.
No, this country.
The comedy.
Is it this country?
Yeah.
Okay. It was our country.
Yes, you and Theo can hang out with Mittens Romney.
Xenophobic.
Whenever I try, I always forget the name.
Very nationalistic there. Our country, don't you mind?
Calm down, Charles. It's just a show.
whenever I try and Google it, because I can never remember what it's called. This country, our country, a country. I don't know. I always sort of country show or something, and like it always just comes up with loads of far right stuff. Like,
nice.
So this is our country. We must protect
my
it.
Country. Yeah,
lots of Pepe memes. Lots of swords emblazoned over the Union Jack.
BBC mockumentary called This Country.
Yeah, it's this is series 3, I believe, and they've done a special in between after series 2. Where it's meant to document rural. That's the framing device. Is they're documenting rural life, with a particular focus on these two characters who are played by real life brother and sister, but in the show are cousins.
You know that the dad in the show is their real dad.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Oh,
and their uncle Len
Yeah.
is their actual uncle.
Oh, okay, that's quite cool.
That's cool.
Because the mother in it is played
her,
by
yeah.
Is it Daisy Cooper?
Yes,
I think her
so.
name is. Yeah, does the same voice. It's quite funny. They're often yelling at each other.
Oh, that's her.
Yeah, doing the
upstairs.
voice. Yeah. So I think she loops
Oh,
it.
really?
So
Okay.
she's imagining, of course, because she and her brother write it. I think there might be a third writer. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm sure that there probably is people.
Yeah. And so obviously
sure.
she knows all the lines. So she's basically having arguments with herself.
The guy, the Curtin guy that plays Curtin, he's in the new Steve Coogan film.
Oh, is he?
He's a fashion.
That's cool.
designer.
I'm glad to see he's
Greed. That's it.
What's
Yeah.
that about? Because that looks interesting.
It's
So sort of
basically
a
about-
Philip Green type.
Yeah, it's
basically that.
Remina Clef,
It looked like what's the Scorsese one? Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, yeah,
kind
yeah.
of ish. Just
Yeah,
excess and money and
Yeah,
drugs.
But Curtin in this plays a sort of nervous guy who gets things wrong.
Cool.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's basically the same character.
That's
Well, I'm glad to see he's doing stuff because I think he's cool. He seems like a cool guy.
So go on.
But it was quite interesting because one of the cast in between the last special, because they basically did 2 series, then a special, which was a sort of follow-up. I don't think there was any intention to end the series, but they just did it as a kind of stopgap, I think. And
It was Christmas special.
Yeah, yeah, and I think because the show ended up being kind of a sleeper hit, like they thought it would do well, but it's it's become this quite a big show.
It's on the front of the Radio Times.
It is, yeah. They've really heavily
means he
advertised.
I don't know if
made
that's a
it.
compliment. It feels like it should be a compliment, but part of you historically goes, it's still a laughing
Yeah,
stock.
so was Jimmy Savile probably at some point.
Alan Partridge said that he said that he walked into the newsagent and saw his face on the front of the
Yeah,
radio
so-
and knew that I'd made it.
But it,
That's the thing, it should be a good thing, but Radio Times go, leave us alone. We're a good, reputable company.
doing our best.
yeah. But and yeah, it's quite heavily advertised, on print and everything else as well. But yeah, it was quite interesting that one of the characters in it passed away. Died quite young. Slugs. Yeah, I think in real life his name is Michael Slegg, so they just slightly altered the name for the show.
Oh, his weird mate who he was trying to get to work out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, he passed. I can't remember how he died now. I think it was cancer.
cancer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
33.
Yeah.
So the last show, the first one of this series, they sort of thinged it to him, didn't they?
Yeah,
they
they
mentioned it.
But they reference the character. They kill off the character in the show. They don't have him. It's not like he won the lottery, moved away, or then and you can't.
It was
recast.
odd because you had to sort of. They were trying to be funny about it. You go,
But it worked quite well actually. I thought, and the fact they didn't. It wasn't just at the beginning we'll have a throwaway thing about by the way Sleggs has died, and it actually wove. It was quite integral to the plot because he left behind a letter that revealed something that Kerry had done. Some wrong that she had done to Curtin years before.
It's quite a big rewrite. So I wonder if they rewrote that.
Possibly, yeah. It could have been that he just wrote, if assuming he hadn't died, it could be that he
Just
let
a
slip,
letter.
or that he let slip, one time that basically she framed Curtin for something, and then and because they're always vindictive to each other, and then end up reconciling at the end. It's very cyclical.
Well, the funny thing, if you watch the first series, when you first see Slugs, when they go, here's this Slugs, he's this and that, they say he's got terminal cancer.
Yeah, I don't know if he was really ill in real life. I mean, they make lots of jokes
but
about...
they say it when you first... he keeps putting... We're on his bucket list, but, don't get us involved in your bucket list. Yeah. But they say when you first meet him in the first series, he's got terminal cancer. So I don't know.
It might have been that maybe he might have had it and then been... Because they make jokes about, his last legs, and it was his 23rd last legs and all this kind of time.
Maybe they thought it might have been on the cards, and they were thinking, let's just mention it to maybe...
I mean, it could be a weird
life
imitating...
Yeah, they might just.
Would it be? Is there a law against hiring somebody that you know might die?
No, a law against.
Well, all these laws, but you can't. No.
I mean, no, that would be discrimination.
Yeah, in fact, it would probably be illegal to like discriminate against people who are sick or...
Right. So somebody's come for a job interview and they say, "I have got very bad cancer, like stage 2 cancer or something like that." If you said, "Look, it's not really worth my while investing time in you,"
I mean, that would be a very brutal thing to say.
I know, but is there a legal thing you can't do that?
I suppose you could. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking.
If you can't do the job, though, I mean, if you've got some kind of motor neuron disease and you're wasting away, and it's a job in a warehouse.
I'm specifically talking about like if this country was that Slugs fella when he's in the first series and they say he's got terminal cancer, which I'm assuming must have known he did. It would be a weird coincidence.
Probably,
to if they knew that and they said, well, no, it's probably not best for this long series that we're going to do.
Yeah.
is that illegal? Can you say that? Or?
Not
Not morally, but I mean legally, can you?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. I think they would try and work around it.
Yeah, but then why not you get another actor? I mean, why? It's a tiny
I guess
little
maybe
part.
because I'm assuming he was their friend. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
well,
bear in
that's
mind
the
it's
thing
such a
about the
family
dad.
affair.
They didn't have a lot of money to work with, so they got the dad in as the
Yeah.
who
Do it
plays
for
the peeping
do
tom,
it
the
for
pervert.
mates rates.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting, like watching shows that do and don't. You know, sometimes they recast people who got killed off, and sometimes they don't, and how they carry on
Yeah.
without
Do you
them.
mention it? Do you not mention it?
Yeah.
Sometimes it works. Let's talk about Star Wars again.
Okay.
Because
Who got killed
sometimes
off?
it works.
Oh, well, Carrie Fisher, I
Carrie
suppose,
Fisher
yeah.
died, obviously,
Yeah.
after the release of the second Last
Princess
Jedi.
Leia.
Yeah.
So this new film comes out, and they
Oh yeah, but there's a long time between that, isn't there?
yes, but this new film, she died in between.
Yeah.
She died before they started filming the new film.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called, Rise of Skywalker.
Don't know that you don't know. You've seen it
she's-
5 times.
I've seen it twice. Yeah. I forget though. I'm starting to forget though. Stuff is really bad. But yeah, okay. She's in the film a lot. Okay. They didn't shoot any. They used old footage of her. And
not all
she's,
that.
They didn't. They did digitalize her once because there was a
flashback,
flashback scene where she's young and like she's training with Luke. But like she's in the film a lot, and they just use random clips. So she goes, "I don't like droids," and they're like, "Yeah, droids are weird." And like she's just like, "Is there a chair around?" And like they go,
no.
like it's just
Trying to build a conversation around random.
And it
Well,
just
this is like the
never
Bruce Lee
feels-
thing we were talking about
Yeah.
a few weeks back. Yeah.
It never feels like they're in the same room or having the same conversation. They're just like she says stuff and they just go, "Yeah." It's like
changing audio backwards and forwards.
yeah, and literally they cut. She's just not. She's it's.
But when did she last do a film? Because there was a
Was
big
the
gap.
Last Jedi? No,
It was
the
Last Jedi. Yeah,
Not
So-
like the 70s.
No,
No.
because they've done a whole. Have you?
they've
No,
done.
there was a
They've
big
done a
gap,
whole
weren't there?
new Star Wars trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah,
But there was a
there's
big
been
gap.
2 since then.
Yeah,
to be
there's
fair.
been
But
2
there was a
Star-
big gap between the old
Yeah, yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
I thought she was only part of the old ones.
Well, she's in the new ones as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because they brought back all the
But
old.
she
cast.
died a while ago.
2016. Yeah.
Was it that long?
Yeah.
Jeez, always.
In the Great Cull of
Oh, I thought it was like
2016.
the last couple of years they've been making new ones.
Yeah, yeah. But
Two.
it's
So she was in the new
The new
lot.
trilogy that's just finished.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's too close then. If that's like, you got to write her out or do
Well,
just
that's
ignore
what
it.
I'm saying is that they did include her. They physically included her, and it didn't work for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
It's just have her fly off. You just have her fly off, and she's just.
well, there was all
and you
this
say,
thing of like,
"Goodbye,
why
Carrie
didn't
Fisher,
you give her the
goodbye."
Holdo death?
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, they should have done the previous film, but if you're working from this film as clean slate, right? We're going to do. Just have her fly out. Give her a lovely farewell scene where she's going off to do a mission somewhere else, going to do something important. Bye, Carrie Fisher. And everyone just goes, bye. Thanks for the memories. Cheers.
Did
And
she
gets
have to be in the film?
She gets, nope. You could
So you could've
have
just done the
written
film.
around her.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what you do. That's
But
what
I
you
think
do.
they
rough
killed
around.
off Luke, hadn't they, in the previous? So they needed to have one of the 3.
Well, they do have a surprise cameo by someone else in it as well. So.
Yeah,
Because
no, I've seen
somebody,
the-
if
I've seen
somebody
clips and stuff,
dies and then you can't put them in the film and you write around the fact that they're not there anymore, you can't moan about the fact they didn't put them in, but you can moan about the fact if you start messing around with scenes and putting them in and that bit and taking them
Yeah.
out. If you just go, right, we've got to write a film around the fact she's
Yeah,
not here
she-
anymore.
she-
And
unfortunately,
you can't
she
go,
died.
oh, you didn't do a film with her in it. You can't do that. But you can go, why are we all talking about random shit? She could just shove her in the scene.
Yeah.
Because then you're not losing anything. You're not gaining anything.
And there was a whole bit as well.
Do some extras or, bunk extra DVD bits. Put it in there.
Well, there was a whole bit where she literally walked off, about halfway through the film, she walked off and laid down and put a blanket over her head. And then and then they kept on cutting back to her, lying down with a
Not me,
blanket
yeah.
over her. And they're going, oh, she's very tired. And they go,
She's very tired.
Yeah. And then they cut back and she goes, yes, you can feel that Kylo Ren's very upset. You can tell.
At least with the blanket over her, she could start talking and say whatever you want her to say.
Yeah, but it was kind of creepy.
Well, yeah, an impersonator.
Yeah.
But it was the daughter. It was Carrie Fisher's daughter played it.
Here's how we're going to attack and defeat the Empire underneath the sheet.
Or
And we're all going to
hand
burn
co-
in hell for laughing
A
about
little
this.
hand comes out with plans.
Yeah.
Like sort of notes, right?
Yeah,
here we
just
go.
off camera.
Yeah. I'm depressed. I don't want to talk anymore. Leave
Yeah.
me here and go
I
on
have
without
taken
me.
a vow of silence and solitude in accordance with the Jedi Scrolls.
And I'm
There you
going to
go,
get my
done
hair
it.
dyed. Next time you see me, I
Yeah.
may look a little different.
Yeah.
I've
I
had
have
a
to get plastic surgery.
Yeah, I'm gonna- What was you talking about in this country then? What was it?
So it's just the fact that it was just quite interesting that they didn't, but the fact that they leaned so much into it and incorporated it into the plot of that was integral to the plot of the episode.
To do that. It's quite a risky
quite
thing.
unusual, because normally it's just like, oh, they got written out.
Are they the owners of the show, sort of thing? I think
I would assume they're heavily involved, producing the writing,
creators,
Who's
so the creators are the owners, not the executive producers.
Well, they don't own per se, but
but nobody can tell them what to do. I suppose.
Well, they can veto stuff and go.
Who?
Well, the BBC or whoever.
Oh, right.
The people giving the money. As soon as you accept money, then you can
either you can go, the money can go, but nobody's in charge. But it's
it's a kind of thing. You're relying on them, but then you can't be like, you know that scene where you like burn books and stuff. We can't do that bit. Or you know that joke about like child murder. Can't do that one. I mean, not that would be in this country, but that's the kind of thing that they would say. You can't do that joke. But
you'd see that though in the writing of it, wouldn't you? That would be authorised.
Well, it might be, or they might film it. It depends how involved they are day to day, or whether they just watch the final cut and have it. They might go. You can do also because it's quite improvised, so it probably just goes right. There's just do a load of stuff and show us the final cut. I mean, for example, there's a bit with Scrubs. They started showing. I think it was the Scrubs, the TV show.
Oh, okay.
They started showing bloopers and usually alternative takes at the end of the episode. I think it was towards the end of the run, maybe like the penultimate series or something. So as the credits are rolling, you'd see a scene again, but you'd see an alternate line because they would say, "Oh, we just want you to." They've probably given them the crux of although a lot of it will be scripted.
Right.
Some of the banter will be improvised, and there was quite a funny bit where it's too dense to kind of explain. But Zach Braff says this line, and everyone's keeping a straight face on the set, and then. They both crack, and the other actor, Donald Faison, goes, "Dude, that's horrible!" And like the directors, they're all both laughing about it, and the director of the producer go, "Come on, guys, we can't use that."
There was one of the producers off. Who's the comedian? I Get No Respect, playing with his title.
Oh, I don't get no respect.
Yeah. Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, Rodney Dangerfield.
Where he did some films, didn't he? Like Caddyshack.
Back to College.
Yeah, those sort of ones. And they said the first
yeah.
time when he was on, I don't know what the first one was. Where he played he would come in and he'd be having to go at people's wives and things, or whatever the film was. But he was a smaller part, and they said he was saying to people like, "What's wrong? Why is nobody laughing?" And they explained to him, "No, it's a film. Like they're not going to crack up like in the background." He couldn't understand why am I saying jokes and nobody's laughing.
Because he used to stand up.
Doing it for 50 years.
He said,
what's going on? Nobody's laughing. He goes,
"Is this thing on?"
Yeah. But with the with something like this country.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see how much that costs to film.
Probably not a lot.
I would think one of the bonuses, one of the things that attracted the BBC Three content.
Yeah. No, because I mean, if you look at what we did,
cheap.
Pardon, sorry?
What we filmed, right?
Yeah.
More or less the same thing. And you go, but
I would say that was very cheap to film.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying though, because I would actually want to go to because I've been involved in certain films and I've been there and gone, why is this being done the way this is? This is not needed. This is so, and you go, oh, that's why people don't do stuff because everything is seen as so fucking complicated.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're probably on a set.
But I mean,
minimum in inverted commas wage for a bit, but it's still going to be a couple £100 for
talking about the pilot that we did.
Yeah.
When I had a producer come in and say, right, this is what this thing should cost conservatively. If we could get things cheap, this is what, and it was supposed to be just over £10,000. Ended up doing it for nothing, more or less. So
it's the idea that if you're going to pay industry rates for things like camera, crew, that's probably what that budget's based on.
They have to be paid.
Insurance, if you're getting.
Well, there's, there's all sorts of things, I think, if it's, I forgot what the terminology is. So it's basically if it's a creative collective endeavor, i.e. no one's getting paid, but it's also not making money, then you can kind of get away with it.
But now you've got unions and insurances and all that.
No. It's only if you're saying it's it depends if you want to post it on a professional job site, then you have to be saying that but if you just post on Facebook and say, hey, I'm getting together, or Mandy.com allows,
expenses,
that's how I applied for it. Yeah, I think, it just says you're allowed to do it, but it depends, because the idea is that, look, if you're not making a load of money, or you haven't got a budget of $100,000 and you've decided to keep $90,000 of it, they're going to say, well, what the fuck is this then? But the point was no one was getting paid on that. So apart from I think the camera.
But you can just you stood there,
yeah.
If you went to the scene, the filming, you stood there. You're probably going to see about 15 people, aren't you? More or less. There's going to be a truck. There's going to be makeup. There's going to And because it's filmed
monitors
in a town,
everywhere.
I'm assuming they're trying to keep it as small as possible, considering it's in a real place. Because sometimes you do see kids sort of looking at the camera, you go, "Oh, that is a town." They don't know that there's a camera crew walking through.
And they are shooting. I think
they blur things out sometimes.
Yeah, no, I think they're shooting in the same place as well. Because it's
it's an actual place.
It's the same. It's the same house. I swear.
Oh God, what did I see in it? It was really odd. Oh fuck. Oh yeah, that was the other weird thing where I thought, oh, that's quite ballsy. Where she's shouting at somebody something, and it's not the mum. But they're having a conversation. It shows the subtitles as if like you can't hear them.
Yeah.
But they do actually say inaudible in one of them. Like they go, "Oh, so was that really inaudible, or was that for the reality
quite
of
funny
the show?"
The way, sometimes bleeping is funnier than actually hearing the swear word.
But like when you see something, they'll be walking on the road, and like the couple of cars will be fine, and then one car will have its number plate blurred out. And you go, "Oh, somebody actually pulled up and parked and went in the shop there."
Yeah, it could also
be.
Or
there'll be 4 kids, and then 2 kids behind them will be blurred out.
Yeah, well, the kids might be that there's an age thing about that, but the license plate could be that they've asked to not. I don't want to have. I've not signed the release form to be identified.
Oh, okay, so it might. Okay, yeah.
Because if you're in the car, you probably can't see who's in there, but if the license plate is identifiable.
Yeah, but I'd like to find out how much that costs just to go. I can do the same thing for a lot cheaper.
I
could do it for a quarter.
Yeah, but it depends on the
But what about the van?
Yeah, but is it? I don't think.
What about the food? Catering? We don't need catering.
Yeah. But my point is, you need to feed people, the humans.
That annoyed me when we filmed one scene. I don't think you two were around in the flat. We filmed in the flat.
Yeah.
And we were filming there, and the scene where so pulls up and all that sort of stuff. And it got to about 3 o'clock, and the guy goes, "Oh, we probably need to feed some people," and it actually annoyed me. I was like, "For fuck's sake, we're trying to do something. What are you talking about? Food?
Yeah, but
you've got
kids.
Army marches on its stomach. You have to feed people. I've had mutinies before on set.
If we've been there for 18 hours,
what time have you been there from?
10.
Yeah, I think a little.
Oh, for God! But what are you kids?
Sandwich.
Well, you can't survive. Well, I can survive. So what am I, superhero? Why?
Yes, Theo, you're a super villain.
Yeah,
you have your Bane powers. It's
fine. I still feel. I'm definitely. No, I don't. You've knocked me confidence that he's not in, but I still seem to be.
You've knocked your faith in Bane.
You say he's a baddie, but he's like Bernie Sanders to me.
No, he's not.
But he's saving people. He's doing things for the right.
One could say he's
good.
Baney Sanders.
Yeah, Baney Sanders.
Yes.
Okay, we might as well just go.
Yeah.
Now, to be
Thanks,
honest,
everyone.
we're done.
Bye.
Yeah, we're done.
So, but he cares about.
I don't care now. I'm well chuffed with that.
he wants things to be better, and it's ugly to make things better, but you have to.
Yeah, but you don't have to go around murdering people, which is what
if
Bane
they're
does.
baddies? What if you're bad, greedy people?
So greedy people deserve death. But bear in mind, he was also going to. He was also look at that silence there. He was like, "I refuse to answer that question on the grounds it may incriminate me."
In the show, there was a 2-minute edit of silence that we just squashed together. Then,
no, what we cut out his rant. Going, yes, death.
I see him saying, "Enough of this. The rich have poisoned everything."
Yeah, but he's also putting innocent police officers out and murdering them too.
Well, he's more about. I always thought he
Grumman.
was more about like it was sort of like social Darwinism. It was survival of the fittest.
Yeah, what's wrong
he
with
was
that?
trying to keep. He was trying to.
I think it's quite muddled in that film, though. Like, what's he doing?
Well, in the film, it is. I always thought Bane as a character himself was. Yeah, it's literally let's kind of create chaos, create a violent society that's more like a natural society, where the weak and the poor and the downtrodden will be crushed, and the strong will rise to the top.
No, that's not that. Is it? He's getting
I
rid
thought
of the green.
It is
I
quite
thought
like
that's
that,
kind of what he was into.
What's his story? Why does he care? Why is he bothered?
Because he loves Tyler.
It's not about
and that's
power,
what
is
she
it?
wants.
In the film, yeah.
Why does he care about social justice, sort of thing?
He doesn't really.
But he does in the
But,
film.
I mean, in the comics, he's more a mercenary for hire, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Right, yeah. So I'm just going off the film, the Batman film. Is that not true? Because that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, we're talking about fiction, not non-fiction, and so you got to talk about what's true to the.
So I'm just when I say Bane, I'm talking about the film.
The film,
yeah,
version,
the film.
And
version.
are you a bit more amenable to that Bane?
No,
because I don't know his backstory. But why? Because he holds court for rich people that don't.
Well,
give a
I mean,
shit
he's
about society.
extrajudicial. Well, he's just people are found guilty and they're killed either way. So there's no fair trial.
Well, they're baddies.
Well, they're not baddies.
Commissioner Gordon was Captain Gordon. Captain Gordon was there.
Is he captain at that point?
I think
he's commissioner.
What film was it? Because I might have to watch it again.
The Dark Knight Rises.
But isn't there a couple of them or something?
Yeah, so
that's the
third.
third.
Yeah, but
parts, yeah.
Commissioner Gordon is
with
a good.
What's his name? Who plays him?
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, so that's the one.
Yeah,
I'll have another look, and then maybe I'll come back to different.
Maybe you'll be like, oh, you know what? Murdering people by throwing them into a freezing river maybe isn't the way to do it. Maybe crushing people's heads with your hands.
And the Thanos thing, there was a theme evolving, because I agreed with that slightly.
So basically, you just want to commit mass slaughter.
No, just killing people doesn't make any sense because
because
create more worlds.
Yeah, but Thanos doesn't kills indiscriminately, so he's not going. I'll take out half of the bad people when he wipes out half of all civilization.
Yeah, but they always take it too far. That's my thing.
You heard it here first, folks. Thanos took it too far.
Maybe a quarter.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was the other robot? Bald again. Who was the bald robot in the Avengers?
There wasn't a bald.
Oh,
there was
Vision, the purple
Metal.
flying dude.
He could be in any robot.
Ultron.
Oh, that's him.
Oh, okay.
Bald. The bald robot. Wasn't a well-coiffed robot.
That's not the first thing
but like...
It's not the first thing I've used to describe him as being bald.
I'd probably go with robot.
Yeah, the bald lads. And you go, what? And
it's funny, they always
robots.
They always go for the bald fella. It's like the evil Thanos.
You look at
Bane.
this is...
So I'm starting to get a bit...
You're getting a bit of a complex, are you?
Yeah, a baldest they are.
Baldest.
But yeah, bald robots.
You're like
all robots are bald. They're not naturally hairy.
It's not the first thing that springs to mind, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Are there any robots?
Gold,
yeah.
gold.
Doesn't the robot in what's it called? Spaceballs, doesn't the C-3PO spoof character and that have a haircut? I'm sure she has like a bob.
Yeah, she has sort of
like a bob haircut.
Yeah.
So it wasn't Ultron? What was his? He was something like that.
No, his thing was to wipe out all of humanity to save the planet's ecosystem.
So that was just the same as Thanos then, wasn't it?
No, Thanos was the...
Was it the same set of films, the Avengers?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but Thanos was that there were too many people creating too much need.
Yeah.
So it wasn't about equality or because he's talking about the whole universe.
Yeah.
It's about population control, basically.
Yeah, so essentially, JC just said this...
Ultron
was wipe out all of life on Earth, all human life on Earth, certainly, to protect the ecosystem.
He was worse.
It's like Skynet. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's sort of like Skynet Terminator kind of thing. That's
So Thanos was the better version, really.
Well, I mean, it's less. There was a bigger because the idea was Thanos. He said, like, when it's all done, I'll retire, go out, take a walk out to the sea, and yell at it. No, he didn't do that. But his idea was he said, "I'll watch the sun rise on a grateful universe," because the idea that he's removed need, because the idea was he grew up on his home planet. Because the idea is that the villain always thinks they're the hero. Yeah. So he grew up on his planet where everyone was starving, and there were, and because there were too many people and not enough to go round. So his idea is, if I wipe out half of people, then there's still the same amount of stuff and enough to go round. There's a massive flaw in all that because you're like, well, then people are going to breed, and
it doesn't make any sense.
We're doing this again in
so exactly. So
I suppose Ultron was a robot.
Well, many people said, why didn't he just click his fingers and make twice as much
resources?
Twice as much resources.
Stuff, yeah. Well, so Ultron was a robot, so he just wanted rid of people. Yes, he's Skynet, basically.
Yeah. He's a sort of rip-off. He came out a lot in the sort of 70s, 80s.
Yeah, because the idea with Skynet is that it becomes self-aware, and that frightens the humans, so they try and switch it off. So Skynet then goes, well, how do I stop them killing me? So his is self-defense. He's because it's spread across the kind of backstory spread across the two films. It's less clear in the first one because obviously it's just that's basically a horror slash, and they don't have as much flash forwards to the future. I don't know how you can flash forward to the past, so that was kind of redundant. Anyway, so the idea is that he becomes self-aware, and people and the scientists who created him are like, oh, holy shit, we've created this thing. How do we control it? What do we do? They try and switch it off, but it's not. You can't switch off something that can be everywhere. A bit like Ultron is the idea is that it's he's essentially in the internet. So how do you switch him off? How do you So I suppose they would have to destroy all the servers and whatnot.
Destroy the internet.
Destroy the interwebs. And so the idea is that Skynet launches missiles against Russia because it has control of the defense things, knowing that then the Russians will blow up the American infrastructure, preventing them from switching them off.
But the Russians are friends now?
So how did they get rid of him? Because they couldn't kill the internet, could they?
No. So, well, I guess it's, maybe it's not the internet. I suppose it's the servers and everything else that, he's part of the computer system.
So how do they end that?
Well, because that's the whole, well, how do you mean, sorry?
How do the end of Ultron Avengers finish?
So they stop him destroying the world and they destroy Ultron.
But isn't he in the computers? Sort of thing?
No, because they create a program to remove him.
Oh, like a virus?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
okay.
that's what Vision is, isn't it?
What other baddies were there in the Avengers?
So the first Avengers, you had Loki. with Thanos,
the brother.
and then Thanos had given Loki an army, so
okay.
Thanos is in the background in that film.
So how many were there?
4.
Avengers, there's 4 films. Yeah.
So
they're all in the top 10 biggest grossing films of all time. Yeah.
So the brother,
so
Loki,
Thor's brother, yeah,
adopted brother.
Then the second one was what?
Then the second one was Age of Ultron with Ultron.
Then the third
is 3 and 4 are both. Thanos.
Right,
Infinity War and
yeah.
Endgame, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So-
It's done now, isn't it?
Well, they've said that.
Wait till May.
Yeah,
No, there's Black Widow coming out in May. So.
There's
I'll wait
plenty of
till I
Marvel
feel the
films.
sun on my face for summer, then suddenly there's a film. But
Yeah, but there's so there will be more Marvel films, but they've said there won't be a big get together Avengers film for quite some time. Obviously, some of the spoiler alert, it's the biggest fucking film ever. You've all seen it, but some of the principal cast characters have been killed off. Obviously, it's a superhero film. Bring them back or do flashbacks to the thing.
But is that
Or just get someone else in.
Well, they've said that Robert Downey Jr. is going to reprise his role in one of the TV shows on the Disney Plus thing. So I'm not sure if he's appearing as AI. I think that's the plan. Is he's going because
you're getting a lot of TV series, aren't you? So you could have
because
a
because you've got
series
Disney Plus now. So that's where the Mandalorian is. I mean, that's basically the only reason anyone's watching Disney Plus, as far as I can tell.
What's Mandalorian?
So it's a Star Wars TV show.
Oh.
It's really good actually.
It's good,
It's good
it's
fun.
really good,
It's quite nice to just watch and be like,
Because they can
this
all
isn't
sort of
bogged down.
It was solid. Yeah,
Yeah.
They have
100%,
all the actors. They have their own movie, their individual.
So they have their own
origin storyline.
standalone
Then
films,
there'll be a TV series.
Well,
in between
they're
the
doing a
movies.
lot of that. So it depends on the character. So some of the characters are getting filmed, some are doing TV shows. So it tends to be that the characters who are maybe the sidekick, or so for example, you have
Bucky.
Winter Soldier and the Falcon, who are both sort of characters in America films. They're not getting their own standalone film, but they are getting a TV series together where I guess they're crime fighting buddies. You've got
5 years
WandaVision.
younger, 10
Yeah,
years
you got
younger.
WandaVision. Yeah, so I think some of those characters haven't been killed off. Vision has. But obviously, Wanda can create all sorts of.
The WandaVision thing looks really good.
Is Vision the guy with the glasses?
No, Vision's
Fires
the
the laser.
robot. Yeah, that's Cyclops you're thinking of.
He's next, man.
How did he get his power? Because don't you have to fall in like a vat of acid or something?
Everyone has different things. So it depends because obviously Iron Man he's powered by technology. Thor is an alien.
Alien god, yeah.
Alien
But
god
he's a
type
human, the fellow with the thing.
Well, he's a mutant.
he's a mutant. Yeah. So at the
What, with glasses?
Yeah,
His
so-
mutation is having glasses.
No, his mutant mutation is channeling energy from a different dimension
through his eyes.
through his eyes, but the
X-Men is
glasses
very
help him
trippy.
control him.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Control him.
Okay.
So it's because at the time of the Avengers films, because Marvel Comics sold the rights to different characters to different film studios.
right,
So we've had the X-Men films.
yeah.
That was with Fox.
Oh, okay.
We have the Marvel films that have these characters. So Iron Man,
The
Captain
Avengers,
America.
yeah.
The Avengers, essentially, the core Avengers. I think Paramount had the Hulk, which is why we haven't had a standalone Hulk film.
Although I think they've done a deal with Paramount.
Yeah, they're going to
recently,
do something, and Spider-Man's off with Sony, so Spider-Man characters. So, so part of the deal was because obviously in the comics these are all exist in the same universe. I mean, there's all alternative reality, blah 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 blah, but they're all broadly in the same universe. But because of the way the rights are sold off, they couldn't in the Marvel films, the Avengers kind of umbrella, let's call it that, anything related to the Avengers, they couldn't say mutants because that's an X-Men thing. So Fox bought the rights to the X-Men films and things like mutants. So in the Avengers things, they would call them meta-humans if they weren't somebody who had something bestowed upon them. Like, like obviously Captain America gets injected with a serum that makes him the super soldier.
Well, there's
blah, blah, blah.
lots of science experiments.
Yeah, a lot of it is
bitten by a radioactive spider or whatever.
So-
What was the other lot? You got the fellow. He looks like a sort of dried poo, and the other one's got rubber arms.
Oh, the Fantastic Four. That was also sold.
Yeah.
That was also rubber poo.
I don't know what he looks like. Some weird blob of mud or something.
Yeah.
like
That's
that.
the thing. That's Ben Grimm.
That's what it's called. The Thing.
The thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
he's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
That's a stupid name.
he's a great character.
There's the. Did you say Thing?
He's a Jewish Brooklyner.
Why does
and
he
he's
look
very
like a-
like,
clobbering
yeah, he's very like, hey, what's going on over here, you guys?
But
They
why
never.
does-
I never really remember them leaning into the Jewish.
He does wear a yarmulke sometimes.
Does he?
Yes.
Does he? I quite like that. I'd like the fact
Quite
he was like,
obvious.
"Oi vey, it's
Yeah,
clobbering time."
Why does he look like mud or dried
Because
mud?
that was how he was mutated.
Yeah.
They got hit with
Into
cosmic
mud?
rays. Yeah.
It's
They all
rock.
got-
It's rock. It's very thick.
Oh, it's rock.
Living rock.
Well, how does he move though?
Because it was all basically they were all it's a fucking comic
it's
book. What do you want
fantasy,
from me?
isn't it?
I mean, they were all. The idea was they were all hit by things that, and it kind of worked with either with or against their character. So Mr. Reed Richards,
who stretches or something.
Yeah, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, but
He always stretches himself too thin.
yeah, because the idea, but he's also he's the guy with the stick up his butt, so really stiff and boring and everything like that. But hey, suddenly now he's all wacky and flexible, and Sue Storm is the beautiful woman that everyone's looking at, but now she's invisible. You know,
And
so-
also, women are invisible in 60s.
Yeah, it's
society.
the 60s.
Has she
Yes,
got
those
any other
kind.
power?
She can do force fields.
Force fields.
Yeah.
She
When they're all flying off, she's still got to sort of get a taxi.
well, no,
No, the rest of
Invisible.
them don't fly. It's only
Who's the fourth?
Johnny
There's the
Torch.
fourth one, isn't there?
The Human Torch, Johnny.
Johnny Storm.
Torch.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Lights stuff
He's the
up?
guy. Yeah,
He's the guy on fire, and he can fly.
Right, yeah.
But they just literally Sue Storm just got pissed and beat up loads of the X-Men in the last in X-Men versus Fantastic Four. They came for her son and
Because he's the most powerful, isn't he? Their
Yeah.
son is the most powerful.
yeah, Franklin, and and she was like, no, you're not taking my son, and she just went like full mum skits mode and like just literally like fucked up like Magneto, Professor X, like everyone.
Can't
She's
mess
like,
with them.
"Fuck
Can't
off
mess
back.
with the
Fuck off
mum,
back to
yeah.
your weird mutant island. You
What's her power?
force fields and invisibility.
How does she fuck people up with a force field?
Because she just put everyone in a bubble and like threatened to squash their heads.
Oh, right.
Basically,
So I suppose you could shrink the force
yeah,
field
she
with
can
them
literally
once
pop
they're
it-
inside it.
She can literally form a force field inside
Around
your
other
head.
people.
No, inside
Oh.
your brain, and just splat your brain if she wants
Okay.
to. So she can.
Let's have a
Women,
change.
eh?
Yeah. Let's have a change of subject.
Well, let's talk about. We haven't had we've been teasing it, or I think we've mostly been teasing it off thing of Charles. One of Charles's rogues galleries. This
was
time
gonna
the
give us-
Israeli couple who thought you were
Oh.
trying to murder them. Was it Israeli couple?
Yeah,
or
it's Israeli couple, yeah.
So here we settle in, folks. Here it
Okay.
comes.
Are we doing it? Okay.
I was on the Royston to London line.
Okay, a bit of context. This is when I was living in that shack in India, halfway down the
Oh,
mountain, staying in the Buddhist monastery.
I just love all these.
That's the shack with next to Batman
Yeah,
and drinking Tibetan man who used to talk to himself all night.
Yeah.
So Batman is the crazy German guy.
Yeah. And
his thirsty sword.
hunting the most dangerous game of all, panthers in the woods. Because people did you say it, they say don't go out in the woods at night. There's panthers there, and I'm like,
Yeah, that was just to make everyone be like, if anyone goes out to the wood, that German guy's going to kill them.
yeah.
How do we stop? We can't say, oh, by the way, the guy that's living here is murdering people at night. So let's just tell them there's panthers out
There's
there.
loads of people disappeared, like dozens of people. disappeared.
German
Two-footed.
panthers.
Yeah, we found a mass grave around the corner. You know,
Maybe
so
they make
anyway-
tanks. It's a panther tank.
Yeah, the
Oh, it's a
panthers.
panzer.
Yeah.
okay. So there used to be like another like block of like rooms or whatever.
Another
up.
ward.
halfway up the sort of hill that I used to have to walk past to get out to the village, and it was at the time. This is a long time ago, kids, and I had a Walkman that I took.
CD or tape?
Oh, tape.
Oh, tape.
Because I was
that,
going.
that was a CD is disc, man.
Yeah, I would have said
Discman,
CD
yeah.
player. But I didn't. I wanted to take something that I didn't care about, and so I recorded loads of my albums onto something that will break or get stuck.
I was just worried, like what you were going to say. Like I took something I didn't care about, my hopes and dreams.
My photo album.
Yeah.
But I bought like a Walkman for like £5 or whatever,
Fair enough,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
recorded like 20 albums onto cassette and stuff, and like a bunch of stuff. So I had like
Your own
lots-
albums or
yeah,
okay.
yeah. No, stuff I bought and stuff.
What year is
Oh,
this?
so you copied? I
This
thought you meant
was-
like, I just copied 20 albums.
2003 or something.
Oh, okay.
So even then it was a bit thing, but I had lots of music stuff. That's what I wanted, so I could just listen to shit.
Walkman don't skip as well. That was always a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it does
yeah.
slow
You get
down.
CDs, yeah.
That's the thing. But it does slow down. So we're in.
Yeah, you start the thing. Yeah, but you get the batteries out, you turn them around and put them back in again.
Yeah.
Like all the songs suddenly start getting that really like kind of remixy. You know what I mean? And then when you put new batteries in, everything's really fast and weird, like Chipmunky. So sometimes I used to stop and change the batteries on my Walkman because it was slow and they were like Indian batteries. So they'd last about 30 minutes, basically.
Hello to our Indian listeners.
Yeah, cool. Well done with the batteries, folks. And then so a couple of times I'd stop and just muck around, changing stuff out. And there was this dude who always used to pop out and like stare at me. And I was like, afternoon. And like...
That was your first mistake, Charles. Why do you say hello to these people?
I don't know.
Don't engage.
Because he was just staring like absolute death at me, and I was just like, I don't need another...
Hands where you could see them, or...
I don't need another maniac. Like, I already have one living next to one maniac. I don't need like another, like...
In every tribe.
Yeah, well, just another maniac halfway down the path. I'm just like, fucking surrounded by killers, basically. And like a couple of times, and like one time I stopped and for some reason I washed my hand. They had like a outside tap, and I washed my hands, and I turned the tap, and the tap flew off, and then water just started streaming up, like pouring everywhere, and I was like, "Oh, what do I do?" So I just ran away. I didn't tell anyone.
Excellent.
Yeah, because I was
Drain
like,
the water supply of 1,000 people.
Yeah, I was going to say,
like,
I mean, I'm sure India's not a country you need to worry about. Like,
it's not they've got problems with water.
Yeah.
So I just kind of ran away, and again, as I was running away, I turned around. He was just staring at me through the window.
Oh, he saw you doing it.
Oh yeah.
Because right now I'm on his side. To be fair.
Okay, and then so next time I stop, for some reason I always change the batteries on my Walkman.
Got 24 hours to change
It's my routine.
It's
my routine. I got to stop every 10 minutes, change the batteries. Yes.
Just have a tin of batteries with you as you're walking around.
It's the bin bag.
I just like the idea that you're running away from someone but stopping to change to the bad. Like if you were in Jurassic Park, the T-Rex is coming. You're like, oh, hold on.
You need change track.
You need a soundtrack to run to.
During the zombie apocalypse, just has to change.
I think I'm jogging. You know what I mean? If you're jogging, you're not listening to nothing. You got to have some music in the background. And this dude came out, and he was like, "Why are you here?" And I was like, what?
And it wasn't a philosophical...
I was like, I'm sorry, what? And he goes, why have you come here? And
fucking hell, what are the 10 Commandments?
Yeah.
And like, he was nearly in tears.
Oh, God.
And I was like, I'm changing the batteries on my Walkman. And like, he's just like, I know what you've come here for.
Oh, my God.
You've come here to kill me, haven't you?
Oh, no.
And I was like, what?
Maybe he thought...
It's just like,
He might have mistaken you for the other fellow with the nunchucks.
Well, there was a bit of difference. I mean, he was 6'2", shaved head, wearing a
necklace of human ears.
Yeah, he might not have said that in the prophecy. He might not have said that.
But I was like, I'm just changing the batteries in my Walkman, sir. Please,
Poor Charles, you've done nothing here. You've done polite.
And then, well, apart from cut off the water supply.
He goes, yes, you've come here to kill me and my family.
Oh my God!
And then the doors open, and I look him, and there's no shit. There's a woman, obviously, who's probably his wife.
Hold on, the door opened?
No, the door was open.
Oh, right. I thought you meant like they choreographed it.
Yeah. The door was open, I realised. And behind him, in the corner of the room, like in tears, sort of scrabbling, trying to get away, in the corner of the room, clutching like a 3-year-old.
Shit.
Tightly, as if it's shielding him, as if as if bullets are about to get sprayed, you know. And she was going, and he was going, look what you've done to my wife.
Oh, fucking
and she was going,
don't make...
And
this is a scene from the Monty Python.
Yeah,
and I was just like...
This is from League of Gentlemen, actually.
Yeah,
this is League of Gentlemen.
Dressed as a woman.
Total League of Gentlemen stuff. And I was like...
I just want to go.
It wasn't Tubbs and...
it was almost like that. And he goes, you want to kill my child, don't you? My child, you want him dead. And like, he pointed at his kid, and I was like, I'm sorry, I have no idea what's going on right now. I was just like, dude.
I mean, I might have gone with, no, I don't. And also, I don't know what's going on. Like, you need to be categorical.
Yeah, but you're like, what?
There's no logical response to that other than, I don't know what
because I just, like, I have no idea. Because he started, like, halfway through a conversation. Yeah. You know what I mean? And, like, he's obviously had this whole other thought and conversation. And there's a whole thing there's a whole story going on, and I'm just walking in halfway through it. Basically.
Did he seem like a lunatic, or did he seem real, like he was genuinely?
They both seemed well kept.
Yeah.
They seemed well trimmed, well dressed. They were staying in a guest house.
So it wasn't that sort of.
They had nice clothes. He didn't look like a nutter.
No, he looked like a normal.
Well,
he looked like he was
wasn't
being
like
honest.
kind
I know what you mean.
crazy, like,
out.
you know. They just seemed like some normal couple, like some normal hipster couple, you know. Just whatever.
But that's so odd.
And then he's like, you can kill me. Kill me then. Kill me.
Oh, Jesus
and then he
Christ.
goes, you can kill my wife. And he goes, but spare the child. Just let my child live. what do you want? Why won't you let us live in peace? And like, and I was just like, look, I'm going to the shops. Yeah, I was just like, I'll see you in a bit.
To buy some guns.
Yeah, I was like, I'll see you in a bit, mate. All right, you all right? Yeah, you good?
That does remind, again, only because I watched the Monty Python. What was the one I see? Holy Grail last night.
But it's very League of Gentlemen, isn't it? Because she thinks Tubbs is always adamant that people are trying to rape her and stuff.
But in that film where it's just there's two conflicting films happening here where you've just stumbled onto the wrong, like when they arrest the
at the very end,
the police fighting, and there's the coppers turn up and arrest him, and he's
just right at the end.
It seems like, hang on, what's going on here? I shouldn't be here.
And then it's literally like you're walking halfway through a story. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck's going on?
So what do you just sort of scuttled off?
And like, but then and then a couple of weeks, I tried to avoid them, obviously, because I don't know, my self-esteem.
Because they were on to you.
Because, my self-esteem, I can't do it.
You're just constantly sort of trying to keep away from people.
Yeah, pretty much. My life is just trying to
avoid
have a little contact with people as possible, because it seems to be negative.
There must be something in your DNA.
I don't know. I seem to get a lot of people just approaching me and saying shit. But yeah, and then I remember about a week or two later, I saw them in the main square, arguing, shouting at a taxi driver.
The family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, he was.
So you're trying to kill me.
There's a taxi driver and leaning out the window, and the wife was cowering in a corner, clutching the child, and he was just going, "Why do you want to kill me?
Oh, no.
Why do you want to kill my wife?" And
that is some sort of Monty Python film.
And I was just like. And I just thought, he's at it again, yeah. And I was thinking, okay, it's nothing personal then.
But I like the fact they were following through the whole thing because it was the wife was there again.
Yeah. I just thought, okay, no. Do you know what I thought? My first thought in my head was like, okay,
did you see the real? Was the child real? It wasn't like a doll or something like that.
Like American Sniper. American Sniper.
No, but just like they thought it was it was child. It was it was some like wood carving or like they'd gone in totally insane.
That was so much better. That was so much. That made a lot more sense actually.
No, it was a film set. He was living on a film set.
Like
he didn't realise.
It was like 3 or 4, 5. It wasn't a baby, but it
was the baby in distress?
Yeah, obviously, it's going to be traumatized.
Yeah, I mean that's
having parents like.
You've got to feel sorry for that child being brought up in that.
Well,
like that's an innocent, isn't it?
I just thought this is like your foreplay, isn't it? Basically,
yeah. It's like
this is like you're going to go through all this, like you wind each other up and just get so tense about shit, and you're just going to go home and fuck hard. You know what I mean?
The fact her cowering with the child again.
But it's like clearly they've got some weird paranoia, neuroses, or whatever about it.
And maybe he's convinced her.
It seems like one's trying to convince the other, and maybe that's how he controls her. Yeah. But like everyone's trying to kill us. Yeah. Only I can keep you safe. And because obviously if he's going up to people and saying you can kill me and nothing happens, he's like, see, I protected you again.
I like the fact that when he shouted, "You can kill me and my wife," but not the wife.
Yeah, if I was the wife, I'd be like, "Can we spare? Can we both be spared?" Like,
how about when they're busy killing you, we make a run?
Closes the door.
Locks it. I mean, that's just mad.
Yeah, they were interested, but you get a lot of Israeli people visiting that part of India, basically. So typically, like they'll do their national service, however long it is.
It's a couple of years, 2 years, I think.
2-3 years or whatever. So they'll do the national service and then sort of go out to India for a few months, a year, whatever, just sort of chill out, unwind a bit, decompress a bit. So you do get a lot of Israeli people there, and a lot of people just out the service as well.
Oh, so they could have been trauma. Yeah.
Maybe I was thinking maybe they
like a PTSD type
situation.
Maybe
there was a bit of that. I thought because they were sort of. I think so. He had an accent, so for some reason I thought he was Israeli because I don't know if they had an accent and stuff. And I used to get loads of guys just being like "shalom" to me, and I'd go "afternoon, sir."
Did you all those travellings in Tibet? Did you come away with anything good? Like, did you?
Well, I wasn't in Tibet. I was in northern India.
Well, your travels then? Was it worth it?
Apart from some awesome stories,
yeah,
yeah, definitely, yeah.
What did you learn, or what did you come back with?
I think I went away at the right time because I think it was about 18, 19 or something, and I came back a different person.
But obviously we don't really know too much about your sort of origin story, so I've been leaving it a while. But were you running from something, or were you running to something?
Because I think you mentioned in previous podcasts about how you'd kind of gone against school. You were being steered toward like go to school, go to uni, do the tradition.
Was there an incident that pushed you away from the UK, or did you just want to go and find something?
Well, I think I mentioned before, like my school weren't going to give me a reference to go to uni.
That was it. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah,
because they predicted me with 3 E's.
So you weren't running, but you were going to find something.
Well, I sort of had a year off, basically, because I was just like, okay, I'll wait for I think I'm going to get better results. I'll wait for my results to come out, and I will apply next year. For next year. And they were like, you can't do that. You have to take the shit reference from us. And I was like, I don't think I do, sir.
What a vindictive school.
Yeah. They it's a fucking guy really had it in for me for some reason. I didn't do anything either, but I was just one.
I don't know.
Stuff happened around me. I don't know what's the problem.
I broke the tab. So.
No, that's just minor stuff. I think that's just day to day.
So with these travels and you came back, what did you learn or have that you didn't have before when you came back, other than being away and relaxing? And
well, it's the first time I'd ever really been away from home. It's the first time I'd ever been on an aeroplane.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I literally just sort of picked a spot in the world and just went, right, I'm going now.
Oh, so there wasn't a particular, like, I'd love to go to India one day kind of thing. It was, why not make that day today? It was just...
I was doing a scheme. I was sort of doing it with a group, or whatever, volunteer group.
Yeah.
And they had a list of things to do, go off and be on the Philippines and teach English, and go off and dig ditches in Africa, and one of them was go and teach English in a Buddhist monastery in the Himalayas. And I was like,
and is that sort of how you earned your keep, as it were?
Yeah, that's what I started doing. Yeah.
So the best thing about the whole thing was being on an airplane.
No. But I was just saying that it was a whole thing was a growth experience.
Just growth, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and and it was good fun.
How long was the whole thing?
About 5 odd months.
Oh, months. Oh, I thought it was longer than that.
No, about 5 months.
So how many different?
I don't think it would have survived longer than that.
How many different places were you in?
We travelled around quite a bit. We travelled around quite a bit northern because we started up, and then we did go to Darjeeling.
Teaching? Don't you just keep you in the one place?
Yeah, it was in one place, but we travelled around.
Oh, wow.
So did the
German guy, what I can't even remember what name we gave him.
Hans
Bubby. Was he teaching as well?
No.
German, presumably? No. And the Israeli couple that might not have actually been Israeli.
No, I think they were Israeli.
Okay, fine. The Maybrayleys? I don't know how you say it.
Maybe Rayleys.
Yeah, exactly. Were they? And they weren't teaching there either. They were there.
No, they did have some. Yeah, they had some guest houses and stuff.
Okay, fine. So you could live there and be like, "Hey, we'll be Buddhists and shit."
What did you do when you came back?
I went to uni.
Oh, you went straight to uni?
What grades did you get? Not like as in like. So I meant as in you got in. You got enough grades.
Oh yeah, I got 3 Bs in the end.
There you go. Yeah. So what was the school you went to?
Bradfield.
Bradfield. Fuck you.
Yeah, piss off. Yeah.
There we go.
How did you do? Did you do your studies?
Yeah.
What did you do? I bet you done it well at school.
So I did. So I did GCSEs and then A levels, and then I went to uni. That was it. I took a year out just because I was examined out. I didn't go travelling.
Did your GCSEs come in any? Was there any points in them at all?
No, not really. I mean, I suppose it's all leading one to the other thing.
As a means to do A levels.
Yeah, it's basically but it depends what you want to do.
And
I mean, at that point,
what you need to get into uni.
Yes, yeah. So they were all a stepping stone. But I mean, at each point, I was like, well, I knew I wanted to go to college because I didn't want to start working at 16. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, so it was partly a stopgap, but also, well, get some qualifications, then that will give you some options. Because if you leave at 16, you won't necessarily have the options. You can always go back and.
What were your A levels in?
So I did English, history, and media studies.
So it's quite general. What did you want? What was your idea of?
So I mean, history was just I always had an interest in history, and I did do well in it. So I was like, well, it's kind of not an easy.
Is that ever going to be useful as a profession, unless you're going to be a historian?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it depends what you want to do.
I can understand English.
It can be useful. It can be useful for politics, I suppose.
History, actually, you look at a number of CEOs and politicians and people have history degrees.
Tourism and even things.
Yeah, there's also. But I've always loved it. I've always been fascinated by history.
So when did you start to think this is what I want to do as a job?
What, TV?
No, any job.
I suppose, probably during college. And no, I think I've always wanted to do writing, but you know, it's like when you're a 10-year-old child, you're like, well, how does someone become a writer?
Yeah.
You know, do you get permission from the Queen? What happens?
What was the sort of more vivid career choice?
So I suppose it was always working in TV, but even by university, I was like, I don't know quite what, because you know, I knew people wrote films, but it was just because we didn't have media at school, so it was only when we hit A levels that media became an option. So it was just how do you write? You know, I never knew. I didn't think about, I'd like to write a book one day, combining that with TV, because I'm like, well, that a book isn't a film, and you know, how do you who writes? You know, you assume, you also kind of think, the director writes the film, doesn't he? And then you find, no, someone else writes. You know, Steven Spielberg doesn't write the film; someone else has to write that line. And who does that? And how do you get it? So it was kind of learning along the way. And again, also because you think, it's not something you could never do. It's off in Hollywood. It's off in blah, blah, blah.
Spielberg ever written anything?
I don't know, actually. He's probably written stories.
Yeah, he's had some writing credits, I think, with story and concept, and I think he's had a couple of co-writing things.
Yeah, I mean, also, you might get a co-writing credit on something just to then keep control.
To be just a director, surely you want to be a writer.
No.
Yeah, I just want to film other people's work.
A lot of the technical people, a lot of very good technical people aren't very necessarily good creative people. There's a lot of very good.
What's the difference between a director and the cameraman?
The director's the boss of the cameraman.
No, but I mean, like, creatively, you either want to be the person filming or creating the thing. Director sort of
because you can get different. It's not just, obviously you can just shoot in natural light and have it look a certain way, but different types of film, different types of.
So it's more technical than creative.
Yeah, will create a different look. So it's a little bit like how a paint tapping on the desk. So it's just to do with, it's a little bit like, well, a different painter is going to paint something, you know, differently depending on what their canvas is, what they're painting on and what with. Yeah. So it's a similar idea with cinematography.
The director's there to visualize the script.
Yeah, so but I just want to think of the mindset of a director. Like, can you
imagine? Some directors
I want to be a director.
Some directors do film.
I want to create something. I just want to film somebody else's creation.
Well, they want to produce things, but sometimes people don't necessarily have lots of ideas themselves.
Yeah, it seems odd.
Yes.
If somebody says to me, "Here's some money, I want you to direct this," I'll fucking direct somebody else's stuff.
I mean, I think it depends on what the thing.
Because if it's good though, someone gives you a good script and says. So this is really, you go, wow, this is really, really good. And we want you to visualize it. You just go,
it's a bit like an actor once, you know, they're saying someone else's words.
To me, it's like, do you want to film this? And no, I don't want to film your idea.
Yeah, but that's because you don't want to be a director. Some people want to direct.
Yeah,
Some people want to have that, or that kind of all fine. They want to be the person who brings it all together. Yeah. That's essentially what the director does. Weird. Yeah, but I mean, why? Because I think why do anything?
What did you want to do before that? There must have been a point where you couldn't do the writing, where you couldn't do the camera work.
But it's not necessarily about you can't do it. It's just that you don't want to. Some people are.
You're better at one thing than the other.
Yeah, but there's also 11 billion jobs on a film set.
It's like who's the fella that does that in
the conductor?
Yeah, you go. Did you want to be a musician? Like, why you didn't grow up saying I want to be the guy that does the?
Yeah, but maybe you do because you're bringing together the orchestra, so you're bringing everything together. You're the one in charge.
Choice though.
Yeah, but I mean, why?
It's got to be a failed something to want to be a
director. I don't think so. No,
Like I'm a failed actor.
I don't think Spielberg goes, I'm a failed, blah, blah, blah.
So I'll just film you. Can you write them and hold?
But I think, I mean, well, if we do take the Spielberg example, I think he must have. You look at there's things like E.T. That's the lonely child, you know, because he's an only child, and I think he's spoken about being a lonely only child, and that's.
Is there any other kind?
Wait, but you know what I mean? Like that's the.
If you write a book or whatever, and I go right, I want to make that film. I'm the director. I'm going to make the film. Yeah. Can I change stuff when I'm filming?
It depends on how the rights are, how it's sold. So some authors might say. I mean, it's unlikely, but some authors are very strict about what.
Okay. So they do down to the contract.
So for example, Paulo Coelho's. I think it's probably only. He's only sold like 2 of his books.
Oh yeah,
because he's just very wary of Hollywood. Who's the?
Have they made any of his books into films?
I think they made.
What was the main
Veronica
one?
wants to. Though the
guy in
the Alchemist.
Yeah,
they've been trying to make that for umpty, but because they keep trying to do stupid things, like they were talking about having. I think one version was going to have a massive battle scene in it. And you go, what? What are you talking about? Like because he meets the bandits in the desert, so they were going to have some massive battle.
But we need something for the trailer.
So somebody go because everyone. I mean, that's the thing. When I read The Alchemist, I was like, God, this really could have done with a few more cavalry charges in it. Like, fucking hell.
At least a lightsaber or something.
Yeah, I'm just like, but it's just so silly because you go, well, I don't watch the trailer of a rom-com and go, when are the Rohirrim going to come charging through and defeat the orcs?
That would almost have to be a foreign film. Somebody that's just an auteur that's making the film not for Hollywood, but making it as a...
But the thing is, you could make it for, you do get those kind of, it's a sort of picaresque kind of you don't get many anymore, but, you don't need, it doesn't need to be all CGI and stuff like that. But I suppose probably because what will happen, because it's got Hollywood, some studios bought it, they're not going to put in, or they'll put in some young unknown to play the lead character. I forgot his name now, the Shepherd. But then it'll be like, it's also starring Mark Wahlberg as the bandit leader. And, so, we've got to pay him 20 million quid. And then there's, if we're doing that, we've got to spend 100 million on marketing. How are we going to get people, and it all just snowballs into this clusterfuck of, let's spend 300 million pounds on something. And you go, where is this money? Like, where I'm watching people walking around in a fucking desert and you spent 300 million quid on it or whatever.
3 words. Doctor Dolittle.
Oh, this is the CG, but apparently it's done quite well from what I gather.
Has it actually made money?
Yeah, I think it's because it was. There's been a few bombs because I think the Harley Quinn Birds of Prey film did okay-ish. I think the worldwide has saved it.
Just recouped its its money.
Yeah. But that was one of those ones. It was a little like the Charlie's Angels film. You went, what? Who's in charge of the advertising for this film? Like, I haven't watched this. I watched either of these films, but the Birds of Prey film. I was just like, there's posters to the film. Oh, that's saying that the release is next week. I didn't realise this film was coming. They've done shit all trailers. I mean, she's done the usual thing of like, I'll go onto this radio show, I'll go onto the Graham Norton, I'll do an interview here. But it was like a week beforehand. The poster is shit.
Are these specific companies that keep pumping money into all-female casts and not making money?
Because interesting. I don't know, did Ocean's 8 do any good?
No.
Well, the fact you're asking questions about it.
Charlie's Angels bombed.
But Charlie's
Dark Fate didn't do very well.
Yeah, but I think that's Terminator fatigue.
Yeah,
it's been bearing in mind the last one was a reboot, and that was 2 years ago.
All female cast or
the
female
Charlie's Angels trailer again. It was like.
It looked terrible.
But the trailer was just like them. Hey, trying on the clip. I kept seeing it. Clothes, yeah, there was the bit where they were trying on clips and go, and this is just the first wardrobe. I'm like, how is that going to get anyone into the fucking cinema to see? This probably cost 100 million. Women trying on clothes. Is this the Sex and the City film? Charlie's Angels doesn't mean anything to most.
The other one had bombed. But somebody said,
no. I think the Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, and Drew Barrymore. Yeah, the McGee ones. I think they did quite well.
They did okay. Yeah, they made money. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was plans to do the third one.
But who's pumping money into these films?
I saw the first one in the cinema.
I've seen the first one. It was fine.
It was okay,
I wasn't bothered about seeing a second. But the Charlie's Angels, I was thinking, nothing about that makes me want to see it. Yeah. You're obviously trying to appeal to...
There's no men going, I want to see that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they might have got men into the cinema if you said like, hey, you've got these 3 really beautiful women, like let's talk about it on a very basic level. Hey, 3 really pretty women, but they're not just fucking because no men went to see Sex. Well, I'm sure they did, but
when you start mentioning clothes,
there was nothing about Sex and the City that made me want to go see that film. I saw the TV series, but after a while, I was like, this is a bit fucking samey, isn't it? This is just.
Have you seen Sex and the City 2?
No, I've heard the things about it.
It's wonderful. It's quite a treat. I would recommend
like a cock crashing.
You
don't see it very often.
It's so bad. It's so terribly made and bizarre. And you're just like, wow. They literally have a bit. They're like, hi, we're going to Dubai, and they literally have bits where they just read out chunks. It's almost like they're reading out chunks of the guidebook.
Well, they probably the Dubai tourism guide, but tourism industry probably pay for some of the budget.
What is this push to keep throwing money at things that female
because the people at the very top are just making up as they go along because they don't. They
keep thinking there's a thing here, but it's not happening. It doesn't work. Most people don't see the.
I think the problem is they seem to. The reason why these films have done very well is because they are doing female-led, female-aimed films and versions of films that women traditionally don't want to go see. They're doing female-led action films. And traditionally,
just doesn't work.
Traditionally, women aren't going to go see that film. I mean, it sounds awful generational,
very
sexist.
Very sexist.
But I think about if you think about your mum or your sister.
But my mum likes those kind of. I would argue that it's not so much. It's only my own view, but I would argue that I think what's happened is they went, oh, female is the big thing, everyone's saying, and they're just fast tracking, and you go, but okay, were these films actually any good?
Yeah,
I know obviously that's subjective, but you looked at the Ghostbusters and you went, it was fine. Yeah. Nothing to get excited about. Like, there were bits that I quite enjoyed. There was quite a lot that I was like, meh, whatever. Ocean's 8, I was like, I only just about liked the first Ocean's 11. It was fine. I've never bothered with the other Ocean's 12 and 13.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just went, well, Ocean's in the it was like, hey, remember the Ocean's films from 10 years ago? Yeah,
vaguely.
I guess. Yeah, kind of like I watched the first one. I'm not bothered. I'm sure they're fine. Hey, it's that, but with ladies.
Yeah.
But why is that getting me excited about to go and want to see that? It's...
Well, like the Ghostbusters thing, that was really odd. Because that's quite iconic for each person, the characters.
But also because they hammered it.
Do it again.
Because they hammered the whole lady. If there hadn't been... I think if there hadn't been so much of a thing on that, I think that made people... It was a bit like, oh, eat, drink, you are going to like Lady Ghostbusters. Well, how about I just like Ghostbusters?
They throwed in the stupid man to be laughed at as well.
Which was a bit odd because the secretary, I've forgotten her name now. Janine is not a stupid character in the thing. And
what do you want?
But there aren't many female characters.
But it's again, look, we're promoting the women here. Look at it's in down your throat, and here's a stupid man to laugh at the same time.
Yeah, I think if there'd been a bit more emphasis on like, hey, this is a good film, but it was just, it was sort of, they're all the comic relief, they're all the, and it was basic. I just thought, I was watching kind of the thing of it, and I thought, I went and saw it because I had one of those cine cards that you can just go see whatever. So I went and saw loads of films. I even saw the not very good Fantastic Four, the last one they did.
The Fan Four Stick.
Yeah, Fan Four Stick.
Just to get your money out of this card.
Well, no, just because, why not? I haven't been able to. Also because I have a bit more
the
free
heating
time.
went off at home.
Yeah, basically. I was just like, I'm lonely. I just leaned slightly towards someone. The people on the screen are my friends. The same reason.
Sometimes it's just nice to get out of the house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially that fucking house you lived in with like poo bags everywhere.
I want to breathe fresh air. The poo bags are out the front bin. Okay, it only smelled when it got hot.
I retract my.
Only on the sunny days and a couple of days before when they built up, and a couple of days before
your thing was like I just like to be in a room where there isn't a small fire.
Or gas leak.
Yeah, Jesus. But the thing is, I would say that these films haven't been good.
Yeah,
they haven't been
films.
So there's not been good word of mouth. There's not been people going, "Hey, I know we were all giving shit to the Lady Ghostbusters," because that was the big thing. It was there was a backlash about it. So
the story was the story behind the film.
Yeah, that was the thing. When the people were talking more about as you say, the story of the making of the film and all of that than the actual film. No. So,
but they were already coming out even before the film was released. They were already coming out saying, "Hey, all the men are going to hate this film. Fuck you."
Yeah,
it was a little. It didn't seem like it was trying to win Paul B.
Yeah,
it didn't seem like they were trying to win people on site. And I think you can do a female-led adventure. I mean, look at. I know, obviously, you didn't particularly, but that Star Wars. Obviously, the main kind of female hero. The main hero is a girl. I know it's Star Wars, so that kind of supersedes anything. But it shows that there is a thing for that. And you had kids, little girls wanting to go see these films now, but dressing up as Rey and everything.
And that I think that was really one of the inciting incidents of this current trend in Hollywood is because Force Awakens did 2.2 billion at the box office with a female lead, and she was good in that. She wasn't given a lot to do. I thought she's very charismatic and likable as an actress. She wasn't given a lot to do in the role. It's a shame because a bit more. But
she's quite kick-ass.
She is. She is. But I'm saying I would have liked a bit more meat, a bit more drama to it. You know what I mean? But from the role, and it's a shame because she was they're all likable. The main cast were good, but they weren't often given a lot to do. I think Ghostbusters is for me one of the real examples and low points of this trend. Because I think it's a film that was aimed at being a female audience, saying, "Hey, this is a comedy for ladies and women," and then when you watch it, it's a comedy for 10-year-old boys, with the humour. It's lots of fart humour, lots of lowbrow stuff. And I watched this, and I was thinking,
lot of jokes about wonton soup. For some reason.
They obviously thought that was funny, and Papa John's and stuff. And you was like, this. You're like, this is like very lowbrow. This isn't. You're pitching this as, hey, this is for educated, metropolitan,
hashtag I'm with
ladies and feminism, people who got their shit together. And you watch it, and it's like, no, this is a comedy for like 8-year-olds.
A lot of slapstick, a lot of farting,
broad humour. And I think that was a real kind of screw up in that, because this isn't the film that you were promoting, basically.
Yeah. So, for example, I'm just kind of the Hunger Games films are good films.
Yeah.
And it has but it could have been a girl. You know, it was Katniss was the big, was the main hero, Jennifer Lawrence. So it's the sort of the West, the Western rip-off of Battle Royale. Yeah. But it was fine. But it's based on the books. The books are good. But they could have easily had that character be a man, and the love interest is so then she's the Peter role instead. Yeah. So it was just a switch that the really badass person is the girl, and the person who needs saving is the boy. Yeah. Invariably, although he's not quite like, they don't do a full reversal, but you just think, okay, but it wasn't rammed down your throat. She's the girl leader. Yeah. She's the girly girl from Girlland. It was she was the girl on fire, became the thing, but that was part of the story. It was the whole, wasn't rammed down your throat.
With Ghostbusters could have been a thing. It could have been a good film. People would have gone to see it just from the name anyway. Yeah. But you think, even if you went, well, let's have 2 blokes and 2 women, that would have done something to it.
Years ago there was talk about, we're going to have young Ghostbusters, which is kind of what they seem to be doing now with this one that's coming. Yeah. So it's going to be, we're going to have young Ghostbuster. We're going to have handoff to the next generation. So we'll have cameos from the old Ghostbusters. It'll be something like one of the characters is their nephew or niece or grandson or whatever the fuck.
Some connection.
And it was going to be, I think there was talks of like, Emma Stone would be one and Jonah Hill would be one, so it was, but then it was just like, no, they're 4 ladies from Ladyland who lady as they lady.
Have I told you?
Yeah, exactly. By the way, it's starring ladies as ladies.
Like at the cinema, ladies night.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just like, okay, what's the film about? I mean, I know it's Ghostbusters, but there was also a lot of confusion about so is this a spin-off? Is this a sequel? Or is this a reboot? Because the trailers were misleading as well. Because I think the problem was, so you were like, what? Because they did a caption that said, years ago, these Ghostbuster guys saved the city. Now a new generation. You go, okay, so it's a sequel. So
it's a soft reboot.
Yeah. So and then it was like, nope. Because you have the character, you have the original actors, bar obviously Harold Ramis, playing different people. So okay.
Bloody hell.
Whereas now this newest Ghostbusters is apparently, from what I gather, they're related to Egon, aren't they? So Harold Ramis's character, I think it's like their grandchild. The main character is going to be his granddaughter. So you go, fine. But it was just like, I think the problem was that the Ghostbusters film spent so much time, and I don't think it's just like, men don't want to see women. It was just like, I don't think anyone wanted to see. I didn't go to the cinema and I was like, I'm the only. It's half full because it's all women and no men. There's no one here because you've sold nothing because you've just said ladies are Ghostbusters.
Yeah, go and see it and don't ask questions.
What's a really funny scene? Ladies are Ghostbusters. So who's the ladies are Ghostbusters.
It doesn't matter. I told you.
Yeah, exactly. And you just go and you
support
and if you don't go see it, then you're a misogynist.
Do you see the Curb Your Enthusiasm comedies?
Yeah.
So they've got the 10th season, I think, that's out now.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. No.
I really like them when they come out. Like, I bought some of the boxes.
I think I've got the first 6 or 7.
But then it started to go. They started to run out of ideas.
It got a little formulaic, and they had a break. They had a break, didn't they? For
I gave it up, and I tried to watch these ones again. And I'd recently watched World War II in colour. Right.
Okay.
Just to what? Because
I'm waiting for the threads to come together.
This is a good start. Yeah.
I wanted to do educating Theo, and we was going to talk because history. I was starting to think there's a lot of things I don't know from conversation I'd randomly had that started to pile up. So I thought, let me actually find out what happened. I don't know what. I know that and that. So I'd seen that anyway.
I mean, luckily so far you only side with fictional bad guys.
Right, no, it's not that.
We're okay.
But it was watching the downfall of Hitler and the Trump thing, and basically all the sycophants start to make him more delusional. So it becomes worse.
So then Hitler's moving armies on maps that don't exist.
So, but when I was watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I'd seen the last couple. I couldn't get through any series of them, even though I liked them. And this one, it reminded me of somebody that's been in an echo chamber for too long. Yeah, like he's lived that sort of LA thing for so long now. Like his stand-up career is so far gone that he's basically been a comedy writer for so long and so rich that the jokes have just gone like, you've got nobody to say this doesn't work.
I see. Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It was literally because
All right, Charles, calm
It's
down.
got worse and worse. But like in this 10th season, there's a drastic change of like, Jesus Christ, you're in small set of like just going from studio to studio for so long now. You've completely lost perspective. There was one of the
Is it like, hey, you ever noticed when you're just being chauffeured from one
well,
executive
one
office to the other, and your driver tries to make conversation with you, and
Well,
you
one-
just think, are you a person? Fuck you! How dare you talk to me?
Yeah, no, it's not even. There's no. It seems to go from sort of like, you know, like the Sex and the City. I haven't seen them, but I always hear that it's like going from like a photo shoot to a photo shoot in each scene. It's like they go from one balcony to another balcony overlook. And there's, I mean, one of the running jokes in one of the things is that they all going on a private plane somewhere, which is like there's nothing. There's not even a fact that it's oh well, I've booked a plane for us to go. So there's 6 seats on this plane, which looks odd. And then the jokes are set within that, but it's almost like it's written for the people that would be on that thing.
So it's quite trying to think of the word.
It's people that would only be
very inside joke.
Yeah, there's
Rich people problems.
One of them, that, actually, now I think of it, is the whole episode. Is the pilot has to know what weight each person is, and he's trying to get the weight of each person, and then the joke is that it can't get there because he didn't get the weight, as if, and they're all not giving their weight because it's very private. I'm not telling you my weight. And you go, he's just asked what weight you are for the plane, and so this whole joke is built around the fact that they don't know, their pilots asked what weight they are for the plane. I'm thinking, this isn't what world do you live in? Like,
yeah. How am I meant to relate to this?
And when they filmed the whole thing, so the 6 of them sat in the private jet, you go, this is very obnoxious. Like, nothing makes sense there. I'm not telling you how much I weigh. And you go, fuck, is this a joke? Like, how many people is this?
I'm trying to think what.
Do you ever see? Do you watch Silicon Valley?
No.
Silicon Valley was really good, and not your standard kind of sitcom. It was proper HBO type thing. And it was a really good satire on, Silicon Valley and sort of tech billionaires and the tech companies. And yeah, it would have jokes like that and have weird things with this, but it would show that these people the joke would be on them because these people are arseholes, basically, and they are nuts. And like that would be the joke, is that they're having petty battles about
if you're
who
mocking
gets
that
dropped
sort of
off
thing,
first, you know, when they're flying back from China. Well, and they're trying to calculate, like, well, actually, I'm like 3 miles. Because you'd have to go up and round and down to get to where I am, and actually you don't go down and up. And like, actually, so I should be dropped off first. And like this person, the CEO, was going, well, no, I think it's probably closer. And then they had this huge battle between.
I can understand that sort of thing if you were mocking that type of stupidity.
Yeah.
But it is just,
I think that's
odd stuff that I've never even heard of.
Because it's a little bit like I always thought that, because the thing with Blackadder was that it was always it's laughing at power. And you wouldn't normally relate to someone like Blackadder because in the first, I mean, he goes down through the aristocracy, but because he's the scrabber or the slimy one within that. So he's the prince, but he's not the handsome prince that everyone wants to marry. He's the slimy one
he's
that
the
everyone
outsider.
hates. The king, his own father, always gets his name wrong. In the second series, he's a member of the aristocracy. He's always massively in debt, always treading water, always about to have his head cut off by the queen. So he's always running ahead of that, and then obviously
it's always grifting, isn't he?
Yeah, and then it switches, so he's then the smartest man in the country in the third one, but he's the butler to the stupidest man, and so because you can't look at that and go, if the comedy was about Prince George, it wouldn't work because it would just go, well, he's just such a prick and he's just stuffing his face the whole time. But it works because we're saying, but we've got an in.
Because I like that curve, but it's quite disappointing. But it's, as I said, I think if you've just been from Seinfeld all those years to now this on the 10th season.
Is it not Seinfeld?
No, he was the co-creator of Seinfeld. Yeah. So you think what world he's lived in for that? How many seasons that was?
He was a comedian and writer, and he.
But your group is so small because you're so powerful and that's so long that it went on for. And now you went on to another major, that's now on its 10th season, and that's all you've done. The world starts to become very small around. You don't really relate. You've lost 5 years out. You've lost perspective. It's
a little bit like it's sometimes when you get people. But also on the flip side, you sometimes get singers who, when they start off, if they're singers or rappers or whatever, talk about how hard their life is, and that's what makes their album so great. And then like 10 albums down, they're like,
on
life's
the black
so
billionaire,
tough,
on the black Bill Gates.
But it was
references. But it was JC's new album about going to dinner with Obama and like starting his own restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, imagine doing a comedy and we were sort of making the jokes about about the stitching in my Porsche. You go, what the fucking...
Yeah, if you're only doing jokes, if you're doing a joke in an ironic way about like how
pointed,
rich you
but
are,
it's not. If it's just all contained within the fact of this...
Yeah.
Right, listen, we're going to have to finish anyway.
Okay, fair enough.
Anything there? Anything you want to say? All right.
Anything I want to say?
Good week. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Pretty good week.
Good.
Yeah, been
Charles,
busy.
You've been all right. Had a bit of a
been
problem with the
fine.
London trains.
There was an incident, a minor incident.
Here we go.
Okay, it's a good.
It is.
It's a good one. I was walking in an underpass.
Euphemism,
as you
or-
do.
Okay.
No, as you do.
You got 2 minutes.
Hanging around underpasses.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to do.
Trying to score some crack.
Yeah, well, I was waiting for people in myself. Going,
Okay. Look for business.
These kids, there was some weird old dude in front of me, and these kids went past on a bike, just having a chat. Not being particularly rowdy, just cycling past. And this guy, he intercepts one of the kids on the bikes, lashes out, tries to kick him, and then misses. Really puts the boot in, you know, like swings and
somebody
misses.
on a bike.
Swings and misses. And then
why,
he goes out.
Why did he try and kick him?
And then he goes out and he kicks his back tire.
Yeah.
And these kids, they're like 13, 14, but like they look like shitty kids.
Yeah.
Kind of kids you didn't want to fuck
Yeah.
with. Not that they were like
BMX, no brakes.
no, but they were just like they're like fuck off, granddad, you know, that type.
But why did he lash out at them? Were they riding at him? Or
No,
something?
because they were just no, it was completely unprovoked. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was a bit taken aback. So what the fuck's going on? And then they were like, "What's your granddad?" Yeah,
Charles's phone is making noise.
Oh, his Uber Eats is coming.
no, it's not me. And they were like, "Watch out, mate! Fuck off!" And like he's like, fuck you, kids." And he goes, "The drawbridge is up. The drawbridge is coming up. You're going to be out of this country."
Oh, I was wondering if something like that was going to pop up, like just right at the end.
Were the kids?
And they all
mixed
stopped.
race?
Nope. No, they were
All
like
white kids?
I think there was like one.
Yeah, somebody
black
that
kid
got
or
the
something.
brunt
Well,
of
one
it.
mixed race kid. There was like five,
And they were
five or six.
English as
They
well.
were, yeah, they were speaking with English accents.
Was he drunk or something? Must have been
It
something.
was 12 in the afternoon.
The drawbridge.
And he was dressed from work. He was dressed from work. You know.
Oh, for work?
Well, he sort of had a.
Oh, Jesus. I
Yeah,
thought it was
jump-
like
So
a
he's had a
hobo.
shit
tie,
day.
tie and a
So he's
thing.
had a shit day.
And
at
he's
the
like, "The
office.
drawbridge, you'll be out of this country
He
soon
had a
enough."
tie on as well.
Look how irate.
I know. Sorry, I'm getting cross.
Charles
And, like-
just knocked his microphone.
And I was just like, again, I was like, what? I was just like, and it took me a while to process it because I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? And then, like, I was like, oh, he means now Boris is in power that we're going to start to mass deporting
you lot,
shitty
okay, yeah.
kids on their bikes.
Fucking hell. So again, got nothing.
And they're like,
Just a story.
fuck, they go, fuck off. And he's just like, oh, fuck you. And like, he was just so venomous. And then he went to.
Do you think it was?
He went straight into Lidl, and I was there buying hand
So he went into a
sanitizer.
German supermarket.
Because I was like, oh, is that the same? That is the same dude who kicked that kid. And like, I was just in there buying hand sanitizer because it's 40p there,
Yeah.
and it's very cheap, very good. Coronavirus, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially in the places you hanging out, fucking
the
underpasses,
Yeah.
Toilets in train
I
stations
live a very
abandoned.
unclean life, a very dirty life. So you know, I've got to stay clean. And then he was just there buying loads of booze. From
It's
Lidl.
all starting to make a picture.
And I was like,
I
okay,
think, like, yeah. I mean, I love these people. Oh, fucking, go back to your own country. As I pop into my German supermarket,
Buy
and then
some
I
Heineken.
hang out my my St. George's flag, celebrating the deeds of a Palestinian/Syrian Roman soldier, and then sing songs dedicated to my German Greek royal family.
Screaming out, I failed and I'm angry.
Yeah, this is man shouts at cloud, isn't it? This is just
Well, after watching the World War II in colour thing and like that just the bullshit and all the lies.
Is this
that
you,
was going-
by the way, is this, I meant to ask, is this you getting, because you said I'm going to have a life now. You were talking about like, I need to, I don't need to be like driving forward and constantly being like guilting
but-
myself into
No,
working.
there was a couple of things. Somebody had mentioned something and I didn't know who they were, and then somebody else
Who
said,
was it, may I ask?
Oh,
Not
no.
the person who asked you the question. I was just curious what
Who?
So
who
what
person I didn't know?
Yeah.
Oh no, this was a celebrity. They said, I can't even remember any references now. Might have been something to do with a kite. Somebody sound like ninja.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Ninja stuck.
Ninja.
Somebody woman. But it sounded like ninja, but my brain's.
Okay, no, there is an online competitive gamer called Ninja.
No,
think.
it was
He
a pop
does
star. Sid, how can you
Fortnite.
not know Ninja something?
a pop star called Ninja.
Pop star. It's not ninja, but
Nicki Minaj?
Might have been. And I said, I don't know who you're
Isn't-
talking about.
I didn't
Isn't
guess
he
Nicki
the guy
Minaj, I was
from
passing.
the South African?
But anyway,
Four old white men try and work out who rappers
No, but
might
that-
be.
anyway,
The
so
South African rap group.
Well, actually,
I didn't know
you're
who-
not old.
Tabantos?
No, Ninja Man. I know
You're not old,
He's
Kerem.
Ninja
The
Man.
rest of us are.
No, he's Jamaican. Yeah.
No. But anyway, no. But then I talked to somebody about history. And then the Trump thing, I was watching that playing, going, we're doing fascism again. And then I had to go for a meal in Eton, and I had to stand by that fucking great big wall.
See, I always think that Trump's more Mussolini than Hitler.
Yeah, businessman. Yeah. So anyway, so I'm walking around. I'm just this fucking wall that somebody lives in. The what's the by Eton the castle?
Oh,
Not Eton. Next to it.
What?
Eton College?
Windsor Castle.
Windsor Castle.
Okay.
Yeah, Eton Windsor. So I'm just
Oh,
walking
Windsor,
around that
Eton,
fucking
right.
great big wall going, this is like 2020, and I'm looking at somebody's house that's like
Yeah.
100 foot high. And then we went to a bar, and this is after the conversation I had with somebody about Trump, and I'd seen World War II, and then I thought somebody was wearing fancy dress. It was a kid with a like fishtail suit on at the bar, eating his burger. And I thought it was fancy dress. You go, no, he's from the college. And I'm thinking, with the wall of castle, and I'm thinking, fucking history, I hate these fucking people. So I thought,
They wear tails and that.
yeah, literally.
No, what
the
are they
kid.
called?
No, it was
Gowns.
12. Yeah, it's the
gowns
thing that hangs
and
down
tails,
on the he's eating a bar. I'm thinking, the fucking castle out here.
I'm
and
still just
Trump
enjoying
and-
the idea of you just sat in eagerly watching World War II in colour. Popcorn.
I wanted to watch the downfall of like fascism.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about watching World War II in colour
didn't
is
watch
you're
the
like,
first
well, at
two.
least the good guys win.
just
Yeah.
watch them.
We win, guys. We win.
But just what I was going to say is to do with fashion. You go like if you used to have the swastika armor race, a swastika, you go, they all committed suicide and lied to
They're
each
all
other.
losers, yeah.
They're all bummed, cowering away, killed their kids, lying.
That's always the thing that-
he had an affair with that Eva von Braun. He's saying, "Oh, I'm single. I just married to Germany." But the whole time he had a bird. You go, "That's the sign of a coward and a liar."
Yeah. But they're all
they all turned on each other.
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
End.
They were all trying to. But it's.
Well, I've gotta
I mean,
finish it
even Himmler was declared a traitor by Hitler at the
Yeah,
end.
at the end, they all sort of having conversations with
Denouncing
each other.
each other,
doing
Yeah, but it was
like-
just and trying to cut deals. Yeah, Himmler
Yeah.
tried to cut a deal to go for
Hitler
peace.
just said, "Fuck this, I'm out of it." When
Yeah.
he said he'd go over and die on the front, and,
Yeah.
and then he was lying about.
But he was
his
just quiet. But his thing was like he was quite happy that Germany. He was like, "Oh, it doesn't deserve to live on without me." Basically,
Yeah, he said in the end there was old men and children were fighting,
yeah.
and then he went into his bunker and
Mongolians,
killed
they
himself.
had French fighting for. But
Those two Korean chaps they found in a bunker on Normandy. Like,
Yeah.
and they're like, "How the fuck did you get in?" They're like, "We don't know, okay." But they made us stand here and fire at you. Sorry, guys.
yeah, hashtag our bad. Yeah, it's just they're all just hypocrites and cowards. And
And so that sign, I was thinking the swastika sign is really a pathetic sign to have like that. These lying, deceitful cowards. This is what I believe
But it was
in.
also-
And losers. They
Yeah,
lost. I mean,
yeah.
they got completely.
Well, they said in
obliterated,
the end,
didn't
the
they?
diary, they said in the bunker they were in, he said they basically stunk of sweat and like just it was just
farts.
pathetic. It was just ugly.
Biscuits.
He said everyone was pale because they were just like they knew they were going to die. Everyone was trying to be. It was birthday.
It would. It smelled like kind of virgin room. You know what I mean? It just.
Well, listen, Nazi farts and bunkers will end there. So I'll just say, look, thank you for. We'll be back next
Thank you
week.
for that, Charles. That was a wonderful
Bye-bye.
way to like remove
All right,
the
bye,
power.
bye,
Goodbye,
bye.
everyone. Bye.